Right, last month my business made 112K a month without paid ads and without cold outreach. And I'm not saying this to flex or anything. I'm just saying this to show you and to let you know that I know what I'm talking about, because I've spent the last few years studying and analyzing the consulting and coaching space, analyzing what's working and what's not working. So I know what I'm talking about. In fact, I analyzed over 100 different funnels across the coaching and consulting space, ranging anywhere from 10K a month all the way up to 3 million a month. And I've studied these guys. You probably know these guys. I'm pretty sure you know who these guys are, like Charlie Morgan, Or Mosey, and Shelby Sapp, and Daniel Fazio. And these are all big guys in the online business world. So I've analyzed all these guys' funnels, and I know what's working in 2026. And in this video, I'm going to break it all down and go and give you tactical, practical tips that you can use in your funnel and in your business. So this is everything that we're going to cover in this video. We're going to cover foundation. So this is the basic stuff that you need to know before you think about anything else, before you think about what funnel to run, the VSL, the webinar. You need to lay down some foundations. Then we're going to cover the content strategy, and then we're going to cover the 2 best funnels to use in 2026. And then we're going to talk about the conversion system, so all the conversion mechanism that you need to turn your leads into actual clients, customers. So let's start with, who is this for? This is for coaches, consultants, info sellers, and honestly, anyone who has an IT offer to sell and is trying to scale it to 100K a month or even more. Now, let's start with the foundation, basics, because none of it matters if you don't have leads coming in. If you cut this part, like, that's it. It doesn't matter how good your funnel is. It doesn't matter how good your VSL is scripted. It doesn't matter how beautiful is your landing page. If you don't have leads coming in, you're never gonna make money. And people who have more leads and a bad funnel will always make more money than people who have a beautiful funnel with a beautiful landing page with all the systems in place but have no leads. So we need to start with the leads, which is the foundation. Once we have the leads coming in, then we can think about the funnel, and then the sales, and then the fulfillment. One mistake that I see a lot of people make is that they think that followers equals revenue and views equals revenue. And that is not true. That is simply not true. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't matter how many views you have, because nowadays I've seen people with, I don't know, like 50K followers, or I don't know, 50K subscribers making less money than people with 3K subscribers, but their offer and systems are just dialed in, and they're printing money. So it doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't matter how many views you have. And as I told you, I've seen people with 50K followers making 8K a month, and people with 3K subscribers making 60K a month. So yeah, like I'm going to give you an example for, like, with my channel. I've made these YouTube videos. These are full courses for my old offer, growth operating offer. And these are full courses. Like, this is 1 hour long, and this is like almost 6 hours long. And you can see that they don't have a lot of views. Like, this one has 357 views, and this one has 298 views. But these videos brought me a lot of leads, and they helped me make a lot of money, even though they don't have a lot of views, because these videos are intentional and they target my ICP, at least the ICP that I wanted to target with these videos. Now my ICP is a little bit different, but when I was making these videos, I was targeting a specific ICP, and these videos used to cover all the problems that ICP was facing, and I used to provide all the solutions, and I used to provide a lot of value to that ICP. And I've generated hundreds of thousands of dollars with just a few hundred views. And you can see some of the screenshots are the payments, like $6,500, $3,500, $2,500. And these are just some of the payments that I've been able to collect with just a few hundred views. So you have to understand that in this case, size doesn't matter. It might matter in other cases, but in this case, it doesn't matter. And it's the intent that matter, and how specific your content is for your ICP. Now, it's very important to understand who your ICP is, and I'm going to tell you how to actually know and understand your ICP. Now, there are 2 ways that you can understand and know your ICP, and one way is if you have a following, so if you have an audience already, and the other way is if you don't have a following or an audience. Now, if you have a following, you can do this. Like, you can run a poll on Instagram to your audience, and then you can DM everyone who reacts to that poll, and you can have 30 to 50 conversations with those people, and then you can find patterns and common objections and common questions. Another way that you can do this, which is even faster, is by having a type form survey. You can post it on your Instagram story, for example, or on a YouTube video on a link in the description. And in this case, you can post an IG story with a Typeform link, and people will go to the Typeform, they'll fill out the application, the form, and you'll look at all the responses and you'll find patterns. And it is much faster. And I actually advise that you do this because it's much faster. You don't need to have 30 to 50 conversations with people and DMing a lot of people. You can just do a Typeform application, Typeform survey, and you can have like 50 to 100 people fill out the survey, and you have all the answers that you need. Now, another way that you can do this, if you don't have a following, you can pay for ads. So you can do the same thing with the Typeform survey, but this time you run paid ads. So you do the paid ads for the Typeform, and you look at the responses and you find patterns. Or you can use AI, which is very good nowadays. You can use ChatGPT, Claude, Reddit. I use Claude. You can use Claude to scrape Reddit and find a lot of comments of your ICP, because they're going to be there telling what they're struggling with and their problems. So you can use different things to scrape these websites. Yeah, you can do market research this way using AI. Is pretty good. You can always implement it with your own research. It's better to not just rely on AI, but you can implement AI with your own research, and this is the best way to do it. And another way that you can do it if you don't have a following is you can do cold outreach, right? You can reach out to your potential ICP, and then you can have sales calls with these people, and then you're going to record these sales calls, and then you're going to find patterns. So what you can do is record the sales calls. You can feed all those sales calls to an AI like Claude or ChatGPT or whatever you use, and you're going to have like the AI find all the patterns, all the common objections, all the pain points of your ICP. And this is a very good way. It takes a little bit longer. All depends on your current situation. If you have money to spend, you can pay for ads. If you don't have money to spend, then you need to, use your time. So you can use AI, do your own research, or you can do cold outreach and get on calls with people. Now, the goal of all this is to find patterns. As I said, you can find common objections, you can find repeating pain points, you can find desired outcomes of your ICP, and you can find solutions that they've tried before, so that you can position yourself in a different way. So you can find out what they've tried before, why it didn't work, so you know what to do and how to position your offer and your messaging. The reason why you do this is because once you've done all this research, the content basically writes itself, because you're addressing real problems that real people told you about, and your funnel converts much better because your messaging matches what your audience is actually thinking, and your close rate goes all the way up because people show up already feeling understood. So it's very important to do this. This is the market research part, and a lot of people skip this. They don't do enough research on their ICP, and this is the most important part. You need to know what are their problems, their pain points, their desired outcomes, what they've tried before, why it didn't work. You need to know all these things. You need to know how they think, how they talk. You need to know all these things because it's going to make your marketing and your sales process much easier. Now, let's move to the second part, which is the content strategy. So what you post determines who buys. And there are different types of content that you can post. Like you can go with a classic flexing content with the Lambo and the penthouse. You're flexing the car and the lifestyle. But I don't suggest you do this. It's a bad type of content to make because it attracts broke people, and you don't want to work with broke people. Then there is a type of content where you do like full tutorials, like step-by-step tutorials, and where you teach the basics or something of your business model of whatever. And this usually attracts consumers, not buyers. But it's still a good type of content that you can make. And the best content that you can make is tactical and results focused. So this is where you showcase how you solve real problems. And for example, it could be like, case studies or testimonials or interviews with your clients, whatever. And this is the best content because it attracts buyers. You want to attract buyers. You don't want to attract broke people or people who are not going to buy, or just consume your content. You don't care about that. You don't care about views. You don't care about vanity metrics. You only care about people who are going to buy. And you have to make sure your content is for buyers. So the 3 types of content that you should focus on are authority content, belief content, and proof content. Authority content could be in-depth tutorials, so you show that you know what you're talking about and you give as much value as possible. As I told you, this is one of my free courses that you can find on my YouTube channel about growth operating. It's 1 hour long. covers everything you need to know about growth operating. And even though I'm not running this offer, as I said, but it's very useful. And once someone watches this video for 1 hour, they're going to trust me because they see that I know what I'm talking about, and they're going to trust me and they're going to buy from me. Now, the second type of content is belief content. And this is the content where you can break limiting beliefs, or you can share your story and your journey and, yours, whatever it is, your insights, your unique perspectives on business and life or whatever. And this is the type of content that makes you relate to your audience. Like when they watch this type of content, they relate to you and they like you a little bit more because they feel like they know you a little bit better. And the third type of content is the proof content. And these are like case studies. And this is another example from my channel. This is how we made 73K organically in 4 weeks. This is a great type of content. This is usually the type of content that converts better and brings you the most clients because it actually shows proof that what you do actually works. All of this is following the KLT rule. So the know, like, and trust. People have to know, like, and trust you before they can buy from you. And if you're missing one of this, then they're not going to buy from you. They just know you, but they don't like you or trust you. They're never going to buy from you. If they know you, but they kind of like you, but they don't trust you, they're never going to buy from you. So yeah, you need all three in order to convert people into customers and buyers. And as I said before, flexing money is dead in 2026. You need to focus on results and relatability. You know, the type of content where you're flexing the car and flexing the penthouse and flexing the Miami lifestyle. It's played out. People don't care about that shit anymore. It's been overused. People don't trust you. People know that most of the time you're just lying. You're not living that life. You're renting the cars. You know, it's content for brokies. Like you don't want to attract brokies. You want to attract people with money and serious people. So, I mean, you can flex indirectly. I'm not saying that you shouldn't never like show your cars or show if you have a nice house, you can show it, but you can do it in different ways. Like don't make your lifestyle and how much money you make the main point of your channel, of your content, because people are just going to be attracted to that and not be attracted to how much value you can provide. And that's not good for business long term. I mean, you can make quick money, but long term, it's not good. So you see people like Hormozy. Like you never seen Hormozy flex a car or a watch. I don't even think he wears watches. I don't even think he cares about watches or cars. This guy is insane. He just thinks about work, but this is an exception. Okay, you don't have to be like this. But the point I'm trying to make is that you don't never see Hormozy flex anything like cars or lifestyle or anything. He just makes videos about solving problems for business owners, and he's trying to provide as much value as possible, and people trust him. He doesn't need to do anything else. So you should try to do the same thing. You should try to make videos where you provide a lot of value, where you're relatable, and where you give everything away. Don't hold back. Like there's a lot of people, there's this misconception that if you give everything away, if you give a lot of value for free, people are not going to buy from you, but it's actually the opposite. I know it's counterintuitive, but it's actually the opposite. Like the more you give for free, the more money you make. This is how it is. So give. The more you give, the more you gonna get back in return. The universe, God is gonna give it all back to you. You just need to give. Think about giving and helping people and serving people. And I promise you it's gonna come back to you. And if you don't believe this, like here's the proof. Like this guy is pretty big in the AI automation space. You probably know him. His name is Nick. And you can see how much value this guy is providing for free. Like you can see, this is insane. Like all these courses are free on his YouTube channel. And you can see this is 4 hours long. This is 4 hours long. This is 6 hours long. And this is 2 hours long. This is 3 hours long. And this is all for free. And he's making a lot of money. Like you can see his school community, 2K members, 184 a month. This is roughly a little less than 400K a month. And I know that he has another community where he charges a lot more. This guy is making over 500K a month just by providing a lot of value for free. Like if that's not proof that the more you give away for free, the more money you make, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to prove it to you. And like in other ways, this is the proof. And yeah, you need to give as much free value as possible, and people are going to trust you and they're going to buy from you. The algorithm has shifted in 2026. Like it used to be that the biggest channels used to get all the views, and the production value used to be the, what make the biggest thing. Like you saw Iman Gaji making these super fancy, super edited videos with all these crazy effects and animations. And right now, it's not like this anymore. Right now, people are not interested in that type of content. People are more interested in useful, raw content like this one that I'm making. Is just me and a fucking micro board talking and giving away as much value as I possibly can. And it's more about interest-based distribution. And useful content is what's winning right now. Like, people don't care about the flashy stuff. People care about what content is actually useful for them, and it can actually help them change their lives. So this is a big opportunity right now, and you need to use it because yeah, it's working right now pretty well in 2026. Now let's move on to the two best funnels to print 100K a month in 2026. Now, before I break them down, you need to know that every funnel works. You just have to find the right one for your business and your goals. And what I mean by that is that it depends on your personal goals. Like, if you're someone who doesn't want to take calls all day, or someone who doesn't want to manage a sales team, manage closers, setters, you can choose a funnel that doesn't require that. And every funnel works. I've seen, there are people printing hundreds of thousands of dollars every month without taking sales calls, without having a sales team. They just, have a link with a checkout page, and people can buy, and they're printing money. And then there's people with a book a call funnel printing money. Every fucking funnel works. You just have to choose the best one for you, for your goals, for your personal goals, and for your business. The two best funnels are the VSL book a call funnel, which is a classic. It works, evergreen, it always works, and then a webinar funnel. And I'm gonna break down both of these funnels. Now, the book a call funnel, you know how it works. You have a YouTube video, and then you have a link to a landing page, and then you have a VSL, a Typeform application, and then you have a calendar link and a thank you page. It's pretty basic. It's simple, but it fucking works. You don't need to overcomplicate this shit. And I'm gonna tell you also what you need to track, like the metrics that you need to track. So you need to track the number of visitors, opt-ins. Ideally, you want to collect emails before they can watch the VSL. So if they don't end up booking a call or becoming a customer, you can always email them. Like, you can nurture them and send them emails so they can eventually book a call and become a client. And another metric that you need to track is the number of people who fill out the application, and the number of people who book a call, and the number of people who show up to the call. So your booking call rate and your show up rate. Overall, you should try to aim for a 1 to 3% conversion rate, depending on how warm is your traffic. Usually, if your traffic is very warm and they trust you, 3 to 4%. But if you don't have a lot of traffic and it's a little colder, they don't really trust you, usually 1%. But generally speaking, between 1 to 3%, it's a good conversion rate. Now, let's break down the webinar funnel. Webinar funnel, of course, you have a landing page, and then you have a registration, so people can register for the webinar. Then, of course, you have the actual webinar, usually 90 minutes, and a Typeform to see, to qualify people. And then you have a booking page and a thank you page. And you should try to aim for these metrics, so the 40 to 60% registration rate and a 40% plus show up rate. Now, for both funnels, you need to set up conversion mechanisms, and this is the last step. So you need automations. You can use Zapier or make.com to connect all your systems so that you don't have to manually send emails or send stuff every time, because speed is essential in business. You don't want to wait, manually type an email once someone, enters your funnel, and you don't want to do that. You want to have systems in place to do that automatically. So as soon as someone's, books a call, they receive an email or a sequence of emails to prepare them for the call, right? So you want to have nurture flows. So if someone doesn't book a call, you need to keep them in the loop, send emails to nurture the leads so they can book a call eventually. And you need post-booking flows. So you need to send reminders to make sure they show up to the call. You can send testimonials and case studies so they show up to the call pre-sold and ready to buy. So your sales calls are going to be a lot easier, and you can answer the most common objections in emails or short pre-made videos that you can put on your thank you page. For example, you need onboarding flows, which is very, very important. And a lot of people skip this part. Onboarding is your chance to make a good first impression and to kill buyer's remorse. So you have to understand that when someone buys something usually expensive, like a high ticket offer, like high ticket service, right after they make the purchase, they have this buyer's remorse. They start having buyer's remorse. They start questioning and second guessing their choice. They start thinking, did I make the right choice spending all this money and buying this thing, this program or whatever? And you need to immediately kill that feeling. You need to make sure that they're sure of their choice and they made the right choice. And the way you do that is by, it's very simple. It's by having a very good onboarding flow. You, as soon as they pay, you just send them immediately an onboarding form and a link to schedule a kickoff call. That's the most basic stuff. But you need to do that fast. You don't want to do that the next day. You need to do that right away. Because if you wait the next day, during all that time, they might have a lot of thoughts. They might think, oh, maybe I made a mistake or whatever. You don't want that. You want to address that feeling immediately and kill that feeling immediately as fast as you can. So you need to make sure that you go above and beyond. So give them more than they expect, and they'll keep buying from you, and they'll be happy. It doesn't take much, honestly. It doesn't take much. As soon as they buy, onboarding flow, emails, onboarding form, link to schedule a kickoff call, and that's it. You're already doing more than, I don't know, like 90% of fucking business owners. Now, if you run a coaching business or an info offer and you want to scale your business, you can work with me and you can get on a call with me. And it's not a free call, but on that call, you will get a complete audit of your current funnel and current strategy and a clear set of moves that you can implement immediately to grow. And if it makes sense working together, then we can talk about that on the call. And I'll offer a done for you service where me and my team, we build your funnel, optimize your funnel, set up all the automations and the backend systems, and we take care of everything. So, but we don't work with everyone. We just want to work with people that we know we can help. So the spots to work with me are pretty limited because, I want to make sure that I provide great results to my client. So you can book this consulting call with me and I'll help you audit your funnel and help you giving you some strategies. And if it makes sense, we can work together. But yeah, if you're interested, there's the first link in the description to book the call. And yeah, that's it for this video, and hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.